the channel that we share, basically. It's all things sort of, forecast readings, things like that. So this is an unboxing of a deck called The Queen of the Moon Oracle by STACEY DEMARCO. It's published by Rockpool Publishing, I believe out of Australia, I think. I have a couple of decks by them, like the Guardian Angel Wisdom cards, I think they're called. And this is a deck, I'm just going to say, that came to me by a wonderful viewer, a good friend of mine. Her name is Laura, and she sent me this deck. She has been working with it, I guess, on her own. And she asked me if I knew about it, and I said I didn't. And she said, I would like to send it to you because I think it would be interesting to see your take on things with it. And I thought, interesting, compelling. Now, of course, like in my typical lazy Pisces fashion, I received the deck, was extremely grateful for it, but then it sort of rested on a shelf. I have quite a few decks that are like sort of waiting to come out of the wings. And I'm getting ready to shoot tomorrow's first forecast for the beginning of October. If you're part of the Engelgeist group, you know that I put up there that we're bringing back the Literary Witches deck, which we worked with last October of last year, that my group and my sort of, the people that like kind of pay the most attention to me, my friends around my group or my closest followers, whatever you want to call them, viewers, they really enjoyed that deck, as did I. So I put up a note in my group asking if they wanted to see that deck come back for the month of October, because, October, Halloween, witches, fall, that sort of thing. And I kind of also, and this is going to sound a little bit silly, but I kind of was thinking about how October's sort of shifting us down through fall into winter, right? We're heading into winter where the messages might get a little bit more insular, a little bit more quiet. So I kind of wanted to get this sort of feminine response coming towards us during these months. I'm not sure why, but at least during the month of October. So I was trying to figure out, like, I kind of sort of scan over my decks because I have quite a collection of both tarot and oracle decks. And I was trying to figure out what deck did I want to pair with the Literary Witches. Now, I haven't read from the Literary Witches, but, a year ago. But it's a really fabulous sort of large oracle deck. It's about 70 cards, I believe. And so it's very close on par with a traditional tarot deck, although it is technically an oracle deck. And I normally like to pair each reading with an oracle and a tarot and combine the two and watch the energies sort of play off one another and the readings, see how they intermingle throughout the month. I've decided to go completely off-road, people. I'm doing two oracle decks this month. It's crazy, I know. Bear with me. But I feel like there's something to be said for the Literary Witches. Hi, Lisa. Good morning. Hey, Kimberly McDonald. Good morning. The Literary Witches, I feel like it's such a femininely empowered deck. I think that they want to be sort of paired with something as equally feminine and as empowered. And I think that this is just the right thing to do. Now, this is the deck that I've chosen, partly because we just worked with Moonology this last month, and I really liked working with that deck. I thought it was a very interesting oracle deck to work with tarot. And so I want to also stay with that lunar cycle sort of focus that we had through the month of September. And you know what? With such a crazy year that 2020's been, like, fuck it, why can't I have two oracle decks working in 1 month for the readings? So that's my choice, and that's what I've decided to do. I also kind of just dig this chick on the cover. She looks like she wants to bring us some sort of a message. They do look cool, don't they, Kimberly? And I'm excited. I have no idea what's in this deck. And the fact that this viewer, who knows me rather well, she's a good friend of mine, we talk quite a bit, the fact that she reached out to me and she was like, would you mind if I sent you this deck? I would really like to see you work with it. I think you would have an interesting take on it. Really intrigued me. So I'm excited to see what's in this deck. I think now is the right time, especially with all of sort of the transformations and changes that we're going through. Planets are going direct, conjunctions are happening, like crazy, goofy stuff is happening. And what it does say here is it says guidance through lunar and seasonal energies. So I like that we're transferring into a slower season. I like that there's a sort of feminine aspect to this that brings about that idea of Mother Earth, her quieting down as we go into fall and then into winter. So these are the reasons why I've chosen this deck, and these are the reasons why there's no poll this month on the Patreon. These are the reasons. I'm just sort of explaining all of this to those of you that are my regular viewers and care. For those of you that don't, you can certainly fast forward. I'm sorry. I'm a bit chatty. if you don't know that by now. All right, so this is the Queen of the Moon Oracle. And you know, from one queen to another, let's just say this, I can always appreciate a good queen. So like, let's bring her in. Let's see what she's about. I have yet to open this box. I did take the plastic off, but I have no idea what's inside these cards. Again, it's published by Rockpool Publishing, and the creator is STACEY DEMARCO. All of this will be put in the video description once it's fully uploaded to YouTube, and you can find a link there if you like this deck after watching me work with it. If it's a deck that you find that you're compelled to want to buy for yourself, please feel free to use my Amazon link that will be in the video description. You know, once this is fully uploaded, that Amazon link gives me a small percentage of the sale of the deck if you choose to buy it through my link. So just for transparency's sake. But I'm not doing this. It's not promoted by Amazon or anything like that. This is a deck that was given to me by a viewer who thought I might work well with it. So let's open it up. First, I'm going to read the back. And I'm doing this morning first thing because I can't shoot tomorrow. I don't like to shoot with new decks without having them been unboxed prior. Right, so I did that last month with the Llewellyn Tarot because I've already used that deck in other pick-a cards and things, but I should have an unboxing put up for that Llewellyn Tarot. But I want to look at the cards as they are in order when they're packaged. So it says, humans have always connected to the mystical power of the moon and the energy of the seasons. This beautifully illustrated Queen of the Moon Oracle allows you, the modern seeker, to plug into these, the most primal energies of all. Features a full moon cycle of lunar images, each gorgeously rendered and able to be used as stunning circular altar displays. Experience the seasonal moons and the power they can provide. Learn which moons are best timings for ritual and spellcraft. Oh, wow. So this is going to go really good. I didn't even read this yet. This will go great with the literary witches in the month of October. I love it with the ritual and spellcraft. And making talismans for prosperity, love, health, and more. And then it says down here about the author, STACEY DEMARCO, the modern witch, is the author of the annual Lunar and Seasonal Diary, the perfect companion to this card deck. Wow, that would be cool to have. Artwork by Kinga Britshigi, I hope I pronounced that correctly, includes 44 cards and a guidebook. And again, as I said, it's by Rockpool Publishing. So let's get this baby open and see what these beauties have to say to us. So the box is lovely. It's, you know, it's a very nice packaged box. They spared no expense in that regard. It doesn't feel cheap. The book is very glossy and beautiful. Let's see. Lately, I've been reading from the book, just for those of you that like kind of want to get a sense of the deck throughout the month. I do my own interpretations of what the cards invoke in me, and then I will read the actual definitions. Depending on these definitions, how long are they? They can be a little wordy, but we'll see. We'll work with it. And I'm excited because, you know, my friend Laura she sent me this deck, so there's something to it. I think that things find their way to you when they're supposed to and how they're supposed to, so I must give credence to this. So let me look at what's going on here. I just kind of like to briefly look through here. This was published in New South Wales. It looks like 2018. And then we have sort of the table of contents, the preface, introduction, how to use the cards. It talks about the dark moon, new moon, and then the different waxing crescents, waxing gibbous. So this will be a learning experience for me too, because I'm still learning about moon cycles. Waning crescents, wolf moon, snow moon, worm moon, egg moon, all of these different styles of moon or types of moon. So that'll be interesting. And then there's a little bit about the author and the illustrator at the end of the book. I'm not going to necessarily read this to you guys. There is some spread layouts in the book and how to use the cards. So that's nice always for new beginners or for those of you that are trying to navigate how you might want to use a new deck. And then let's get into looking at the cards. There's a download the Oracle or Rockpool Oracle reading cards app if you want. I'm not too concerned with that. There's nothing written on the inside of the box. So let's see what we've got going. Of course, there's plastic. Good morning, Christina Davis Buffkin. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Jennifer Puetz, I think that's pronounced. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Okay, So let's get a look at some of these cards really quick and see what we've got going on. I wish we could get her. Maybe I'm just going to remove her. I mean, she's beautiful. Can we put her back here maybe? Yeah, she can hide out back there. That's good. I want to give her honor, but I also want to see the cards. All right, so we're just going to go through some of these cards. We won't go through the entire deck. I just want to give you guys a little bit of an idea of sort of what's included in this deck. So this is the Void, which is the Dark Moon. Beautiful. Oof. Already. I like that. And the cards are numbered, so those of you that like to read with sort of numerological values, that's kind of cool too, because that can also add to a reading. We have the New Moon, which is beginnings. You know what I like about this? I love that we have this winter scene around this doorway. It's like maybe we've been dormant or dead, right? Not that winters are dead, but maybe there's been a quieter, more downturned time and we're about to open up into something new. And we have this green of spring in here. And I love that the moon is full up here, which makes me think about like sort of the idea of listening to our intuition, our deeper sort of more subconscious self, and you know, sort of maybe moving from a period that was more desolate, dark, cold, trying, to something that's more fresh, abundant, renewed, and full of possibility. I mean, that's the first thing that I see in this beginnings card. That's just kind of my interpretation. I don't know what the actual meaning would be, but you know, as we work with them this month, we will figure that out. Realization. This is the Waxing Crescent number 1. These are really pretty. I like, she gives me Alice in Wonderland vibes. This woman down here, I don't know how well you guys can see her. Acceptance. This is interesting to me because we have these two hands here, right? And so this could be acceptance from like another human being or help outside of ourselves. But there's also this sort of electric shock that's happening between these hands, which also makes me think of spirit sort of connecting to us from on high, right? We also have these beautiful doves and what appears to be like flower petals. So this will be the deck that I'm going to be using with the literary witches. It will be 2 different oracle decks for the month of October, which I don't normally do, but I'm going to do it because, you know, fuck, we've got so much going on in the world that we don't normally experience. Why not? This is the Waxing Crescent number 3, Growth. What I love about this one is not only is she growing from Mother Earth, right, and sort of strengthening her roots, grounding down into the planet. I love that she's carrying this time, this watch here, right? Like all growth takes time and patience. I also love that she's sort of looking down at her growth, right? Like sort of reflecting upon where she once was and where she might be now. Self-love. Wow, this is a really cool deck. Thank you, Laura. I mean, this is really beautiful. And if you guys are enjoying this deck, please give me a thumbs up on the video if you'd like. This is Waxing Crescent number 5, Nourishment. This to me gives me like sort of I don't know, like maybe a 10 of Pentacles vibe. Like abundance in all of its forms. We have the Path. Again, we have this sort of like, to me, what appears to be like an Alice in Wonderland. Maybe it's the blonde hair and the blue dress, but she gives me an Alice in Wonderland vibe. Assessing. It'll be interesting too as we work with this deck, like to read some of these definitions and see exactly what this artist was sort of trying to portray with some of these cards. And how these are going to work with the literary witches, I think will be very interesting too. I also like that this is a moon cycle, a moon focused, you know, cycles of the moon focused deck. And it is, we're working with witches, which were very much, you know, what's the word? In like Everything's so political now. I want to say collusion, and that's not the right word, but in conjunction with nature and the cycles of the moon, right? So I think that that's also why these will pair well together. Discernment. This is a word that I've been using a lot lately. So I like that this card's included in here. I love that she's in sort of a fog, right? She may not necessarily always know the answer, but then when she opens up her mind to sort of the cosmic or her higher self, her higher knowledge, or the light that's in her heart, right? The awareness that's in her heart, she can better discern what it is that she needs. We even have this small moon here in her third eye area, which is also representational of her intuition trying to break free from anything that might be confusing her. Do you guys see that? And this, true discernment helps us to sort of work our way through situations that otherwise might baffle us. Fear. Good. Damn it. No, I like that when cards have sort of all aspects, or decks have all aspects of life, right? Where they're not all too syrupy and happy, right? I like to deliver a positive, uplifting message full of hope, but I also know that there is a reality that, we have polarities, we have light, we have dark, we have good, we have bad. So it's nice to see that there is I tend to think that sometimes oracle decks can be a little bit more on the upside or positive side. So it's nice to see that she includes things that may be deemed as negative in some ways. Boundaries. Kimberly McDonald says, I need this deck. That's great. Kimberly, wait until I get this fully uploaded to YouTube, and please use my link. And that way I get a small percentage of the sale if you do choose to buy this this deck. Will. Oh, I love her. She's giving me like queen of, I don't know if is she like a swords or a queen of wands kind of energy. She's sort of interesting. She got a banana on her head. I'm just kidding. It's not a banana, but focus. I also like that these have sort of a very cosmic vibe to them. I don't know if you guys are picking up on that, but I'm seeing a very sort of cosmic-y kind of connection to this. It's not just solely moon related. It's sort of more, what's the word? Like, it just feels more connected to all that is versus just a focus on the moon and the connection to the moon. These ladies here feel like they are working their way through time and space, if that makes sense. So this is Waxing Gibbous number 6, which is action. To me, I see like sort of reckless abandon here, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean like this is kind of the not giving a fuck card to me. It feels like, that sort of idea of dance like no one is watching, right? We also look at how this moon is here, and then the next cycle of this moon is sort of much brighter and slightly more fuller, right? And so here she's sort of ready to just channel all of that energy into whatever it is that pleases her, whatever it is that frees her, whatever it is that inspires her, and taking the action to do that. That's kind of how I feel about this image. So I kind of love that. Power. Self-reflection. What I love about this picture, I don't need to interpret all of these for you guys, but what I do love about this picture is I love that not only do we have the action of the mirror, right, where it's mirroring back to her who she is, I love that she's holding her own hand. Like there's a sort of sense of, even though we're self-reflecting, we're doing it from a place, and it may be emotional, right? This water makes me think of the emotions, right? Or the emotions that we experience around self-reflection. But I love that she's sort of caring for herself in this picture. She's sort of being her own confidant, her own sort of hero, her own support as she goes through this period of self-reflection. And even as the waters of the emotions may arise within her, as she's reflecting upon whatever it may be for each individual person, I love that she is over here on the other side. She's feeling those emotions, but on the other side, she's still sort of supporting herself in a very physical way. Does that make sense? pleasure. Wow. That's beautiful. Balance. I love this. I love that balance is also, I'm like totally going through all these cards. My first impression of this balance card, what I love about this card is that it's an older woman. I love that it's an older woman. I love that she is aged, like in the sense that she is in this sort of autumnal dress with these fall leaves. Like she's seen a few seasons, right? She's seen the different cycles of the moon. She knows sort of who she is, even amongst the clouds of what goes on around her, right? Even if things try and get in her way or divert her attention or whatever, it's like this woman is wise enough, or this card is wise enough. It's seen, you know, it's been to the circus before and pet the monkeys. It doesn't necessarily need to get caught up in all the drama, even if the drama is all around it. It can maintain that sort of balance and that strength and that grounding, that connection to the earth. So I love that. This also gives me sort of earth sign vibes. Speaking of earth signs too, guys, I will be doing the earth signs today for the Tarotscopes for October. So for those of you that have been waiting, my Virgos, my Capricorns, and my Taurians, that will happen today. Once I have a couple of things on the plan for today, but this is the first thing I want to get done. And then I will start those. I'm going to go, just so you guys know, I'm going to go in the order of, I believe, Capricorn, then Taurus, then Virgo. This is beauty. I love how she did this, because this is actually, I mean, you see the face in there, right? But this is a butterfly. This is a flower as the lips. This is a leaf. I love that. It's very, what's the word? Sort of almost surreal in a way. The eyebrow and the shape, the stalk creates the shape of the face. That's very cool. Resilience. This is giving me like 10 of Wands vibes. Oh, somebody's calling me. I can't answer right now if you're watching. I'm not sure if you're watching. If you can see I'm live, please, I'll call you right back when I'm done with this video. And then let's do one more. Wisdom. Card number 22, master number. Let's leave it on that. I love that she stands on these books, right? In this, you know, maybe this buoyant boat, right? We may not always be sure, but the wisdom that we do have within us and that we do know, we can use as support to reach for sort of the stars, or for higher learning, for higher awareness, for mastery in a way. We've got the mastery of this 22, right? So even when things might feel precarious, foggy, on, you know, unstable surfaces, we still have that wisdom underneath us or supporting us that we need to be, you know, brave, sort of maybe climb the ladder and use to reach for something higher, better, more suited to us. Do you guys see that? All right, so let me pull these together and we will do a quick shuffle. And we'll just pull a card for those of you that are watching this morning, just to kind of have like something to reflect upon. Hopefully this card will make a difference for some of you viewers or anybody that watches this video in the future, just to kind of see what comes out. And maybe actually we will read the description too, just to see how different they may be than how I'm interpreting them. I like my own interpretations, quite frankly. I will say this, the cardstock is very thick. It's kind of stiff, which I don't know if I like that or don't. Oh, hey, Gus. I don't know if, I mean, I imagine these will soften up nicely, and it's on good quality cardstock, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I feel like when cards are really stiff, they feel not fun to shuffle. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, these will probably soften over time, but they do feel exceptionally stiff at first. I will say that. For those of you, they feel kind of normal as far as hand size. Maybe those of you with smaller hands might have a harder time, but it's not too bad. And I think this is 44 cards. I can't remember. Is it 44 cards? I didn't really look at the last card to know how many cards are in the deck. What do they need to know today? I will show you this too. This is the artwork, which is the cycles of the moon on the back of the card. I forgot to do that. That's kind of beautiful too. And this is your card for the day. Oh my God, look what it is. It's that surreal beauty card, which I absolutely kind of love how she did this. All right, so I'm just going to give you my version of this. It is card number 20, right? Which would boil down to a number 2. Twos to me always represent sort of couplings or the deepening of relationships, right? When I look at this though, because we have the solitary female face on this card, to me this is about finding our own sort of coupling within our own appreciation of our beauty. And that beauty doesn't necessarily mean physical beauty, right? That means our beauty, like in who we are as a person, right? As an individual, what makes us sort of special in whatever way that may be. For some of you, it might be, I'm, intelligent, or I have a kind heart, or I have a very sensitive nature, or I'm very empathic and supportive of others. But finding the beauty in that versus finding the criticism, right? I think that when we focus on that beauty, or when we connect to that beauty within ourselves, we start to also see it in other things. And that's where sort of the design of this card, and why I like this design of this card with this flower, the butterfly, it connects us to sort of nature and all the beauty that is around us. As we start to see it within ourselves, we can also start to see it reflected in the environment around us. And it makes for a much more sort of exactly that beautiful experience, right? Where we feel, this face to me feels like at peace. She feels centered. She feels like, there's a love here, there's an appreciation, and there's a connection between herself and nature that is not only appreciated, but also very beautiful and apparent. Does that make sense? It's almost like she's blending in with nature. She's able to see the beauty of her own personal individual nature, and therefore it connects her to like the sort of the small miracles that happen in the world or in nature around us, and it perpetuates upon itself, right? It also bonds that number 2 in the 20 card. It kind of, to me, would exemplify that idea of bonding with ourselves, loving ourselves a little bit more deeply, right? And coupling with ourselves a little bit more in a way, so that we can, appreciate ourselves at a very true, pure level, right? And that's sort of also this like art design of this abstract nature becoming the face of the very beauty that we see. All right, so let me pull this card's definition and just see what it has to say, because I could be completely wrong. Not to make comparisons between me and what the artist sees, but it'll just be interesting to see how she defines it. So beauty. Beauty is like medicine. It can heal even the most broken spirit. Beauty is everywhere in nature. Just look. Beauty comes in many forms, and we can choose to find it. I love how I look. Rid yourself of clutter and what you find disagreeable. Then there's a quote here. It says, I see beauty everywhere, and it raises my vibration. One of the high needs in my life is that of beauty. I need to be exposed to what I find beautiful often to be at my best. You might find that a strange need, but it is far from uncommon, especially among creatives and artists. Beauty, to me, isn't lots of makeup or fancy skincare or society's current beauty ideal. For me, beauty is nature and having things I find beautiful in my environment. I look around me as I write, and I can see the inky dark clouds racing across a violet sky and the birds riding the wind, and it's beautiful. On my desk is a small piece of glass a friend made for me and a small bowl full of summer frangipani. This is kind of a long one. Wow. My feet rest on a hand-woven carpet of desert colors, and my toenails are painted a shimmering turquoise, my favorite color. All of these are expressions of beauty to me. They raise my mood. They give joy to my eyes, my heart, and my mind. Everyone can experience beauty every day, even if they choose to look. One of the important differences between the ancient pagan and the modern idea of beauty is that the old ways state there is a need for the core of the self to be developed and strengthened to enable and foster true beauty. This is an important two-way double punch. as there is a strong mind-body connection when it comes to both beauty and vitality. Yes, while it is acceptable to use therapies that treat or beautify externally, it is equally important to stop bad habits detrimental to health that will interrupt the good you are doing. For example, you could be using the most effective treatments on the market to nourish your skin, but if you can't give up smoking, there is a finite level of health that your skin can achieve. The unbalanced first world ideal of beauty is at its zenith right now, with more people than ever before undergoing and normalizing plastic surgery and injectable chemicals. Everyone has an individual right to decide how they wish their body to look and adopt an idea of physical beauty. However, it's the source of the influence that is worrying. Who told a woman who has altered her appearance that there was something wrong with her face, eyes, smile, expression in the first place? Who had the audacity to say, you are not enough? Because she had some smile lines. Think about that. Who is making women in particular so fearful? Who or what wants you to question yourself and the very essence of how you interact with the world and why? Who wants you to be the same as everyone else and less of who you are? Society? Some marketing guy for a big cosmetics company? A retouched spokesmodel? Real beauty is hypnotic, yet in reality has less to do with youth than it does with the spirit coming through the skin. The word charisma comes from the Greek charis and ma, meaning the spirit shining through. Each of us possesses a unique beauty, one that gives us confidence if we recognize it. Each of us is desirable, each of us is perfectly formed to be what we want to be. But should we become too obsessed by the external, something that is, after all, fleeting, we may become unhappy and chase an ideal that is impossible to uphold. Companion stone or metal would be Larimar. So that's interesting. I like her definition. I feel like it's slightly personal to her experience, which I don't think is a bad thing per se, but I do feel like connecting to our own internal beauty connects us to the beauty in the world around us. And I think that allows us to feel more at one with not only our environment, but those around us. It brings a sense of peace, tranquility, and love that is within us that we deserve to experience and expose ourselves to and have for ourselves. That would be my definition for this card. And I kind of think that's also what she's saying too. So that is your card for the day, guys. This is the Queen of the Moon Oracle by STACEY DEMARCO. Again, if you are interested in purchasing this, you can wait until this is fully uploaded, and I will put a Amazon link in the description box. You use that link, and I'll get a small percentage of the sale. And there's Arthur in the background saying hello. He's making out with my bulldog. Do you see that by the door? Yeah, Arthur. Yeah, good boy. So that is your card, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back on later to do the earth signs, and I need to do today's forecast. If you haven't watched, the forecast for tomorrow, for October 1st. So we will be switching decks then. And if you haven't seen today's forecast, please go to the YouTube channel and watch it. Give it a little look. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Take care. And it doesn't actually say about the particular moon cycle and whatnot. Actually, now that you asked that, it doesn't specifically. Maybe I'm supposed to know about that. It's the waning gibbous. So I believe, if I'm correct, I could be wrong. Waxing is when the moon grows, and waning is when it sort of fades, right? That's my belief. I could be wrong about that. Somebody can Google that and leave me a comment, let me know if I'm wrong. This beauty thing would make sense in the waning gibbous, in the sense that if something like beauty is sort of fading or fleeting as far as externally, right? So it would make sense that why she would include this in the waning aspect of the moon cycles, only from the standpoint that to find true beauty within ourselves, that never sort of really ever wanes, right? External beauty might, right? We can't always, find the fountain of youth or stay young and beautiful. It's a whole lot of work and a whole lot of struggle. So that's maybe why she included this in the waning gibbous, is sort of like, we need to find the strength or the beauty that is within us. and channel that versus like this more fleeting, you know, quote unquote waning beauty that we might be trying to cultivate on the outside to impress others. That would be my sort of initial take on this card, but I could be wrong. All right, there you go, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back on in a little bit. I'm going to try and go shoot tomorrow's video now, and then at 10 o'clock I have an appointment. Somebody's going to be arriving here, and then I'll come back on live to start the earth signs. All right, you guys, have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you, like I said, if you like this deck or you're interested in purchasing it, please check out any of the decks on my unboxing playlist, and all of them should have Amazon affiliate links where I get a small percentage of the sale. It's a great way to support the channel. If it's anything that I bought, there's some decks that I bought from like Etsy and places like that. Those decks don't have links because those are smaller producers or artists that, you know, they can't afford to be doing that, and that's completely fine. Please support these artists and these decks if you're interested in them, no matter where you purchase them from. Okay? Thank you so much and have a great day, you guys, and I will see you all soon. All right. Bye-bye.